I think that's really interesting, actually. So a 1-to-3 ratio, so 50 Israelis released for 150 Palestinians. I think it's incredibly welcome, actually, for those poor people caught in the middle of this, the Palestinians who are forced south, 1.5 million people on the move, also getting those aid trucks in and fuel in. One of the other things that we're not talking enough about, I think, is the hospitals, disease. The epidemics of disease that have broken out because they don't have any desalination plants, for example. So this is really welcome. And I think also it will make Israel think twice about its next move, just in terms of, obviously, Netanyahu determined to crush Hamas, but at what cost? And I think it plays into the international community as well and what they think of Israel's
But is
actions.
Israel prepared to lose that much face? I mean, yeah, of course, it's good that there's a cessation of hostilities because innocent people are dying there. But, you know, Israel has made it very clear that its mission, and this is especially wrapped up in Netanyahu's future career as well, its mission is to destroy Hamas. So if this truce, and some people are saying this may become permanent, if it becomes permanent, what happened to Israel's mission to destroy Hamas? Hamas will still be around. But I think what this does indicate is that Hamas are very worried. They're struggling here. That's why they're they're doing these deals. And the reason they're struggling is they were expecting Hezbollah and Iran to step in and help them. And Hezbollah and Iran have had a look at the lie of the land and thought, you know what, Hamas, you're on your own. So, yeah, interesting times. But the last thing I would say is remember, so they're releasing 50 hostages. They've got 240, so that means they've got 190 left. So I don't think this is the end of the picture.
Yeah, it just sounds so incredibly hypocritical for Hamas to say, we're doing this because we want to heal the people of Gaza. They are putting the people of Gaza in danger themselves.
Yes.
Hamas are killing their own people. If they want to see Israel no longer occupying Gaza Strip, Hamas cannot be in charge of Gaza. They need to put someone in who's willing to acknowledge the Israelis and wants to actually talk with them and not just destroy Jews from the whole of the earth. But in terms of Netanyahu, I don't think he can ever destroy Hamas. Because every child who has lost a parent, every brother who's lost a father or a sibling becomes now a terrorist and now wants hatred against Israel.
I agree. It's always an ambitious aim to try to achieve. But, you know, Netanyahu has really staked his future on it. And you have to think about the character of Netanyahu in this situation. And it may dictate future events.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you about it. In a sense, it's fundamentally mission impossible. It always was. However, because they're concentrated in such a small territory, it doesn't mean they don't have assets all over the place elsewhere. But because the main concentration of the personnel they think is in that strip and still is, then it is possible to take out an awful lot of them. But you're never going to be able to eliminate it because, as you say, each death leads to more martyrdom and so on. The other observation I'm making, it doesn't really lead anywhere, but I expect we're all feeling it, is this whole bartering of numbers. It feels so very sort of distasteful, doesn't it? It's almost like these people are literally pawns on a chessboard. We give you 10, we give you this, we give you that. I mean, each one a horrible, dreadful story.
Exactly, but it was ever thus with hostage-taking and the negotiations that followed.
How much are you worth?
It was no coincidence that Hamas decided to kill 1,200 people on that fateful day and also to go to the huge trouble and bother of taking hostages because that's what it was always going to be about. They knew that the retaliation would come and they knew that their one bargaining chip would be the hostages, and they desperately had to keep those hostages alive. Those hostages were worthless, dead. But, of course, now, as that negotiator who was talking to Vanessa said, now is the most critical stage, the end game of handing hostages over. We've all remember stories where
it's gone very wrong.
Where it's gone very, very wrong, and families thought that their prayers were being answered only at the last minute to have their hopes dashed.
And also, remember, back to 2011, they had 1,000 prisoners released, Palestinian prisoners, for one Israeli soldier.
Exactly.
So just in terms of the numbers, there are 7,000 Palestinian people in prison accused of or convicted of serious disorder against Israel.
2,000 of those are currently uncharged, which means they could be held there for eternity, which is obviously not fair. And that's Israel saying, well, we believe you have links to a political party that we're against, but we haven't got any evidence. We're going to keep you here indefinitely.